Well, hello and welcome to another LinkedIn Live Q&A interview where I'm delighted to be joined by Mayira Thomas, who is a life coach who specializes in helping people with confidence and self-belief. How are you doing, Mayira?
Hi, thanks, Paul, for this opportunity. I'm doing really well. It's a lovely spring morning.
It is, yeah, the sun's shining. You can see the Boris the other day talked about the crocus of hope poking through the frost. Just a bit of a weird turn of phrase, but yeah, things are starting to look up, I think. So like I say, we want to talk about confidence coaching for adults and teens. So you are a motivational speaker, you're a life coach, a self-belief life coach, and you've had a long career in education and careers advice as well. So do you want to start by just explaining a bit about your background and how you got where you are now?
Yeah, thank you. I started off in education. So I've been there as a teacher, a mentor, and a careers advisor. And I've spanned and worked with 3-year-olds right the way through to university students.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, I just fell into it. So, I chose the wrong A levels because I thought I should be doing a certain set, like all the sciences, but my love was languages and history and literature. But I set up these limitations, thinking, what am I going to do with all the, with the arts? So I should do science. I didn't do very well because it was pressurized by community maybe, and also being told that drama wasn't for people like me. And so somehow I got into teaching, and I'm so glad I did, in the twist of fate that it had, because I was very underconfident myself growing up, in that I was thinking I can't be me because it's not good enough. So when I see children, I will always say to them, think about who you are. And, one day a 7-year-old left a note in my classroom saying, I wouldn't have been this confident if it wasn't for you. And that was for me being a student teacher. I was just doing my job. And she was one of the most quiet ones in the class. And it was just, really fulfilling for me to feel that I'd reached out. But I make it a point that whoever sits in front of me, if it's a classroom full of people, an individual, that they are seen, they are heard, they are acknowledged. And I found that throughout my, whatever age they were, it was the same essence. Please value me for who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's so crucial. And I wanted to be a life coach 20 years ago. A lot of people, what is that? I didn't really know, but I knew I wanted to help people. Maybe I lacked life experience back then. Yes. So it's, it's interesting how divine timing sets in. And then when I went to being a careers advisor, what I found was there's a lot of lack of confidence in young people because of their indecisiveness and decision making. And often they haven't had this conversation about who are they? Because the teenage years, the best of times, is we're not sure of who we are anyway, but really pinpointing down, what are your strengths? What are your skills? What makes you happy? And that's sometimes it's just a lack of purpose. What am I turning up for school for? But that's a whole nother, the education system and all that's a whole nother topic. But when they have the conversation and they're being heard, again, that's when you find that their body language changes and they leave like with their head held a bit higher. They don't have to say much, but it's in the subtle moments. And so then coaching found me, and that's where we are today. But I feel I want to speak as well, which I started doing last year.
Yeah.
Just before lockdown, I did my first event at the Presentation Genius event
Yeah.
in Newcastle, and it just snowballed from there.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, you've done some great videos already for the Founders Friday and for the Newcastle Startup Week YouTube channel, and that's why I've invited you to do this as well, because you have got a story to tell, and you are very inspiring, and just you've got such a lovely vibe about you when you talk to people, and so I think people need to hear you and hear what you've got to say, because you have so much to give. And when you're talking about teaching, well, I definitely remember junior school when I was about 10 or 11. The teacher that I had there, I really thrived with him because he, like you say, I felt seen, I felt like valued, and he talked to me and others as if we were equals. Obviously, we're only 10-year-olds. He's like, but he just listened to what we had to say and really encouraged and listened to what we had to say. And throughout my life, whenever someone's done that, that's made me feel good and assured and give me the confidence. And I like to try and do that with other people as well, because I know just how important that can be. Just that one conversation sometimes. In the past, sometimes when I used to work for a youth enterprise scheme, Shell Livewire, and that was all about helping young people aged 16 to 30 start their own business, right?
Yes.
And sometimes you get people ringing up, and they'd ring up and they'd talk about their idea, and they'd say, "Thank you for actually listening to what I've got to say and not tell me it's a stupid idea." And like, because it was never a stupid idea. Yes, it might have been difficult, but it was always possible. And yeah, just I've seen firsthand how important that is, and how you can completely change somebody's day or even their life just from a certain conversation or certain words of advice.
Sometimes, and children, young people, teenagers, people in general intrigue me anyway. They always have. There's always a story, always.
Mm-hmm.
But it's even sometimes when I'm talking to young people or children, it doesn't matter. I'll just stop and say, oh, "Tell me more," because it's such a fresh perspective they have.
Yeah.
That as adults we sometimes forget, and we complicate things often.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll come out with literal ideas, but it's also encouraging the curious mind.
Yeah.
That schools are not doing off, the majority in the mainstream.
Yeah.
The curriculum is so, this is what we need to do. And it's so linear.
Mm-hmm.
That they don't have space. And actually entrepreneurship, like you've mentioned, is becoming more and more of a thing. Kidpreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
We need to encourage that, because I think that's where we're heading as well, that more businesses are going to start.
Mm-hmm.
And what the self-confidence comes into it is making sure you believe in yourself to show up as you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of small businesses, particularly, it's the person putting their passion on the line.
Yeah, totally. So let's talk about the life coaching then, and why do people need confidence coaching or self-belief coaching?
Because it's that what stops us from moving forward.
Okay.
It's the fear that I'm not good enough. This is what I see often in my clients. But they don't see it like that sometimes. You see, they think, oh no, I just don't know how to do something. But underlying, that's where it is. That's like, it's questioning them. So they come up with, oh my gosh. So one of my clients came to me and we did an exercise all about her moments of when had she achieved stuff that she felt proud of. And she listed it. And she listed more and more and more. She was like, oh, I haven't done this for 18 years of my life. I didn't know. I'd forgotten. And that in itself prompted her to take more actions. Those small steps that are going to get you further. So you move out of that stuck feeling. It's where do I go next? And also I find that it's the confusion that's going up here. So I came up with this phrase of, I help you unconfuse the muddled mind.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
And like you say, when somebody listens, and sometimes, you know, you get a different perspective, but it's through the questioning I do that as well. So
Yeah.
I believe that life coaching also teaches us life skills. It's happened for me. It's you know, as we become coaches, you learn for yourself as well. It's not just a set of skills that you'll learn just for that moment to hit your goal at that moment. I see myself as a positivity person. So I say, you know, I glitter. I love glitter. So it's a sprinkling or a glittering of positivity that I want to bring to people.
I like that.
And,
Yeah.
you know, an inspiration. Be inspired to be you. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
Because if we're living in other people's shadows and expecting validation from outside, we're never going to be happy with ourselves. We'll always be seeking. The validation first has to come from us and say, I am good at what I do. I am good at being me.
Yeah.
And it takes time.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. On that thing, yeah, I think definitely getting that clarity. So I was just thinking, just I mean, a big thing for me at the minute is all about trying to get clarity for what I'm doing, but also help other people get clarity as well. And I'm thinking clarity gives confidence. You know, clarity creates confidence, because if you've got so many things going on, it's confusing, and you've got lots of people in your ear telling you what you should and shouldn't do. You've got so many distractions. I mean, that I've heard really successful entrepreneurs and investors talking about how weaponized distraction is one of the biggest problems in the world now, because technology and media is deliberately trying to distract you for their own gain, but it's stopping you from doing what you need to do and what you want to do. So getting that clarity, getting really, really clear about who you are, what you want to do, what excites you, what fires you up, that's hard for a lot of people, because most people don't actually know who they are and what they want and why they're doing it.
And that's exactly, you're spot on there, because a lot of, you know, when I've read back through feedback as well, what they'll often say is, oh, I know, you know, what you just said, and I know what my values are. What's important to me to help me get to where I want. And I think, yeah, it's like, it happened for me. That's why I can say this as well, because for years I was just going with the motions of work, life, but something was not right. I still wasn't feeling that. What was my purpose? I stopped and asked myself that. And I think 2018, I started with meditation. I was getting anxious quite a lot, and I didn't understand how to pinpoint it. And also, I didn't know what I wanted, just what you said, that clarity. I didn't know who was I really, you know, and meditation changed. For me, I just started meditating for 40 days, non-stop. And I didn't realize what a game changer it was. It was 10 minutes a day.
Right.
And my goodness, because what it's doing is emptying all that overwhelm. It's slowly giving us space for newness, to new ideas. And in that moments of stillness, which is a very scary thing to do for a lot of people, I was there. To listen to your own thoughts is it's not great most of the time. But if we spend more time in reflecting, just ourselves, not going out for a walk with the dog or not going to the gym, but just in that solace, that silence, that's when we start hearing our heart's whispers. What's our soul really telling us as well about who are we?
Yeah, a lot of people don't do that because they're constantly on pushing around, doing things, busy with work, life, family, friends, watching the news, reading the paper, doing what they feel like they should do, like you say. And definitely, I mean, school, you know, obviously school is, I really enjoyed school, but I would say most of my school, I didn't really know why I was there. Like, I kind of knew,
Yeah.
I was good. Like I was in top sets and all that, but I was like, I wasn't a swot at it. But like I was clever, but I had to work hard at certain things. But a lot of the time I was like, I really don't know why I'm doing this. Nobody ever explained what the point was, and I was always like questioning why are we doing this. And once I know why I'm doing it and I'm clear on what the purpose is, that's great. I'm better then when I know what the bigger picture is. But if I'm like, I really can't see the point of doing this. In school, I did love it, but it is very, like you say, very focused and structured on an endpoint, getting you into a job or getting you down a certain career path. And then, but is that really what it's quite Victorian, isn't it? The education system still, the idea that you're going to go to school, then get educated to a certain level, then you're going to go into a factory or you're going to go into a big organization and you're going to work your way up the hierarchy. And
it's more of the doing rather than the being.
Yeah.
And it's that perception that if you don't do, we're not good enough, or I've got nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
It's that idea. But yes, a lot of my, I've heard kids will say, what am I learning? Where's the taxes? What do I do? What's a mortgage? Life skills, maybe plucking a chicken. Little ones will, where do eggs come from? Sainsbury's. Not the chicken, it's like, and that kind of thing as well. I think gardening maybe should be in schools as well. Horticulture. It's the purpose that lies, like you said, why are we here?
Yeah.
And one girl that I actually saw, she was in a sixth form a couple of years ago, and her mum said to me, can you just talk to her? Because she's going to drop out of sixth form. She's so bright. I don't want her to. She was panicking. And I said, of course, I'll have a chat with her. And we did. And she was open to, because I only do it if obviously the client wants to, the student wants to. So she came and we had a chat. And, I suggested things from listening to what she was saying. And I said, have you ever thought of going to a college, perhaps, because of her learning style? Was more practical, less academic, but she wasn't happy anyway there. So I just suggested it. You can have a look at that. And she took her parents for an open day. Her parents were like, oh gosh, yeah, even the tutors are, they're really educated, I guess. They were like, gosh, because it's a college, it's not a sixth form. So their concept, the myths behind it all was like, okay, I can see our daughter going there. Anyway, fast forward a year, she said to me, she dropped out and she started in that September. And then she said, I've absolutely loved it. I'm doing a business, level 3 course, which is the equivalent to A levels. And she's learning so much in a more vibrant way for her. And then another year on, she just let me know that she's actually now got an apprenticeship with the NHS, but she got 3 distinction stars.
Wow.
As well.
Yeah, amazing.
And she says a lot of her friends just didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying so it's the route specifically what's for you. That's all this is about.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's finding what's right for that lady, that student. That the sixth form wasn't the best place for her, but her, maybe her parents or people around her, that was what they did, or that's what they thought was the right thing to do. I mean, even I remember going to university, and I said to my parents, I don't think I want to go to university, and they're like, no, you must go to university. If you don't go to university, you'll never get anywhere in life. And I mean, I've got good parents, like they've always supported anything.
Of course, yeah.
But at the time, all the teachers, all the parents, all the politicians everywhere were saying, you must go to university to get a degree.
Yeah.
Why? Like, I don't regret it, but like it really hasn't helped me in any of my work since. But I still had a great time, and I loved the experience. And it was more about the experience and
Yes.
the people and the growing as a person. But actually, the education I got hasn't benefited me at all. So
You find out more about who you are, I guess.
yeah, exactly. So do you want to say a little bit more? Well, we've probably talked a bit about it, but just what does it actually entail? Like the type of coaching that you give to people?
So we have like an initial call. I call mine an uplift call. People call them discovery calls. It's about 30 minutes just to gauge what is it they would like and to see if we're the right fit. And, to set a goal, basically. And then it's very bespoke to that person. So it depends what the goal is as well. And I do use my questioning and my there are exercises that I go through as well, like they do, which a lot of the time the feedback is I really like that exercise. And the strategies as well, what's suited for them. So it can last I've just seen one client for 6 weeks now.
Okay.
And she's feeling that she might want more. And then there are others who I've seen for 3 weeks. There are others longer. It depends how deep-seated as well, because what we're doing, and I do NLP as well, Neuro-Linguistic Programming is part of it. And that is changing your thought patterns in the brain, the neuro part. The linguistic part is how we're speaking to ourselves. And sometimes you don't realize it until you're starting to talk to somebody, and I will stop and say, have you heard yourself? I've called myself stupid. Now I stop that. I'm not going to call my best friend. I'm not going to call anyone that. So why would I call myself that?
Yeah.
But do we realize it? So we talk about that. And that comes down to what's the relationship you have with yourself? Do you respect yourself enough? And then the programming is moving on with what we've learned to adapt it into the lifestyle rather than just for that moment.
Okay. Yeah.
And at the end, it's getting you to having reached your goal. We also assess your goal on a weekly basis because it's attributing that to, have we got it? Has it changed? How are you feeling? And for young people, it depends what they're coming with and for. So it could be 6 to 8 weeks, really, to see transformation.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Right.
But I work with my intuition as well. So what I found is when a being is sat in front of me, I see through the exterior. I feel that's a gift that I have. I'm not a psychic, by the way, far from that. But I can read between the lines, so I see through what's really going on.
Yeah, that's really powerful because it's that objective view, isn't it? And like outside perspective and all that. So because you say people often don't know, but talking it through with someone else is helps them get that clarity. I've definitely found that when I might have some vague idea of something, but then just talking it through becomes more real. And actually, when I hear myself saying it, I get clearer on what I'm trying to do. Like just verbalizing it is really, really useful. And I always feel it's like everything. You always feel better when you talk about something with someone else, just having a conversation. Yeah. So yeah, and then but yeah, 6 to 8 weeks sounds well. Yeah, you need a bit of time for something to change, don't you?
And also to build rapport, to build trust. That's part of it as well. Particularly if it's quite new, the whole thing, and it's also for people who feel they're ready to be helped. And I do not come with the answers for you.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared So to do the work as well, to put in that work, and it takes consistency. Okay, you don't do it for a day, 2 days, whatever, like affirmations perhaps, or exercises that are going to help you. And also, I do say, it's very basic. I'm not like, I'm an enabler, I'm a facilitator, but I help you help yourselves.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
And that's where my teaching will come in as well. I want to let you go and be independent.
Yeah. Well, the answers are often inside them.
They are.
They've already know. A lot of the time, people already know what they want to do, or what they need to do. They've just maybe never expressed it before, or they've been shying away from that for whatever reason. But once that comes out and they get clear and on what that is, and then definitely I found that like last year as well. Like for all of last year for me was just getting really clear on who I am and what I want to do, and not just thinking about it, but actually following up with real world action towards that thing, and consistently working towards it, and not doing things because other people wanted me to do it, or that was what I've always done, or that's what I felt like I should do. Like, but still, not being selfish, but like just still like putting myself first, or kind of like making sure that I'm okay. And like when you've heard this probably analogy loads of times about on a plane when they're telling you to put your mask on first before you help other people. Because I was definitely guilty of always putting other people first before myself, and that's okay to a point, because I do like I do like helping. Like, I feel like I'm in a position where I can. Why would I not want to do that? That's my personality. If I've got some knowledge or some insights or a network, or I can help you, why would I not help them? But if you're doing it so much that you're always putting yourself last, that's not sustainable. And yeah,
it's like the Wayne Dyer, I'll never forget it, and he asked the question. So I'll ask you, if you squeeze an orange, fresh orange, what's going to come out of it? What do you reckon?
It's all the juice, isn't it? It's all the
juice. Juice. And so when we are not, whatever's aggravating us, or we're frustrated, or we're tired, what happens is that comes out. So it's whatever's inside us. So if somebody snaps or somebody says something, it's not at you personally. That's how I see it now. It's whatever's going on with them. And it's that needs to be addressed. So when children, or young people, even universities, the students, it's like they'll say, what's going on at home and all this, and I'll say, actually, it's not to blame. It's because maybe the parent, the carer, whoever's at home, they haven't healed. There's something that hasn't been dealt with. Because that's what happens. And I've learned this now, that it's not to take things personally. So it's like if we always put other people first and forget about us, that's fine, but it's never selfish to take time out for you. Because your cup not just needs to be flowing, overflowing, it needs to be. So that you can continue to doing your good work.
Well, that's why like every day of the week, like Monday to Friday, I have different themes. So Monday for me is Inspiration Day. So that's the day that's kind of like my day off, I suppose, is my day where I'm still working, but I'm using it to like go for walks, or listen to music, or listen to podcasts, or
balancing,
or go out on my skateboard, or like learn a new skill, or have a conversation with an interesting person, or like that's, I'm soaking up inspiration. I'm getting myself motivated and inspired, and then the rest of the week I can give and serve others and focus on the business. But
and I love your arty photos as well.
Thank you.
Crooks and the crannies of places I haven't discovered yet. So it's really good, insightful.
Well, even that, during the lockdown was a really good outlet for me, like creative outlet to just get out. It was to get a bit of exercise and explore the city, but just nice to express myself to things that I found interesting. I wasn't doing it for any purpose other than I thought this is interesting, but then other people seemed to like it as well, and because they'd never seen those places before, or they couldn't get into the city.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it just became a really nice thing that I've tried to continue. And you're taking some lovely photos as well on Instagram. So what's your Instagram handle again, so people can follow you?
At Mayira T.
Okay.
At Mayira, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just love nature. Yeah, I've fallen in love with nature more and more this year, and I look at, it's just bliss. It doesn't matter what the weather is, and it's right on your doorstep. I find that if I look from, it teaches me life lessons. I think because the natural resources that are out there, it's like the natural resources within ourselves. They just need to come out and flourish and have space. So from the blossoms, I know we're not in that season yet, but or even all the winter flowers that have come out, and the ones that I've noticed is, in between the pavements, it's weeds maybe, but they come out.
Yeah.
And it's choosing the environment we're going to thrive in. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
So if we're in a place where we're not happy at work or wherever, have the strength. It's not easy to do always, but if you have that notion that this is not me, then change the environment that you're in so you can thrive and not just survive, And I just thought, I noticed that I don't know, 2 days ago or so. But lockdown has got me to even appreciate the seasons even more, because you see them up close.
Yeah.
It's coming up to a year.
Yeah, it gets you to stop or slow down, and it's a bit of a cliche, but the phrase "stop and smell the roses." It is like you may be looking more deeply and more closely at things that otherwise you might have just like rushed past. And I know like a lot of my stuff is more urban stuff, but I still see the beauty in that.
Of course, yeah.
I do like getting out into nature, and I love going out into the forest, woodlands. That like I love being in amongst trees, and I feel really peaceful and calm, and in that environment, and by the sea as well. Yeah,
it's good, and it's all about using the senses we have as well.
Yeah.
Shopping. So I'll say, oh yeah, or I'll have a Zen den, a little toadstool mushroom office. Bright red. Inside it'll be all ModCon, but it'll be set in the woods.
It's gonna happen. You've said it now. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So who is your typical or your ideal client that you work with?
So at the moment, it's women and professional women who feel, because what I've noticed is, yes, I was there as well, and you can do things. So I've met a lot of women who are strategic, they're brilliant at what they do. Absolutely fantastic. And I look and think, oh my gosh, look at all your skills, and it's amazing. But then when I start speaking to them, there's an underlying like imposter syndrome, or that feeling that they themselves aren't good enough. So that's when I thought, actually, that's where I'm going to go first. It's obviously not exclusive to that, but yes, and young people. And I think there is this concept of parents and young people to be spoken of as well, and it's so that they're all seeing it from the same page. Because sometimes I'll hear children or students who'll say, oh, I wish my mom and dad could hear this. It's nothing bad. It's just, finding out what's going to work best. And I'm sure in lockdown, people have got to know each other in their own households very, very well. And it's just understanding. So yeah, that's it. I just feel I'm there to help people who are stuck.
Yeah.
or feeling like they're not worthy, and they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know they are, but I want them to see it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, okay. I love it because yeah. So up until now, obviously your professional, like your career has been careers advised for younger people and teaching. So that's where you come from. So that is a key audience that you want to continue working with, isn't it? Like teens in particular. Is that kind of the age, or
teens and university students.
teens and
You know,
universities?
they find it difficult to find the concept that making a mistake, it's bad, because
Mm-hmm.
that's how they've been programmed, or they're thinking it's got to be perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is no such thing as perfectionism. You know, I heard somewhere, perfect doesn't change, but you can.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, and it's that kind of idea. And so, you know, there's a fail early, fail often.
Mm-hmm.
That was in a university in Florida. I think that's what their motto is.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to instill that it's okay. It's not you failing,
Yeah.
just you're discovering something that doesn't work the first time round.
Yeah, well, you're a step closer to finding what does work on you. So, I mean, throughout history, if you look at any of the famous inventors,
Thomas Edison, I think, was,
one,
9,000 times he got it.
yeah, and then eventually get right. That's what they do. They don't give up first time, do they? And they just keep on going and yeah, it's frustrating, but they know that they'll learn. Okay, that doesn't work. So let's narrow it down and just keep going. And that's just part of their whole psyche and the way they operate.
Yeah.
So I mean, this maybe a sweeping statement, but I know that like one of my best friends is a teacher, and you know, there's a lot of talk about why are girls not getting into technology, or women in tech, and so, and how do we get more? And I was asking him about it because he's like IT teacher, and he was saying up to a certain age, boys and girls are exactly the same. And he said, this is his experience. He said once they get to like teenage years, girls tend to disengage from it because they don't like getting things wrong. So like they like to do well, get high scores, because that, and he's saying boys aren't so bothered. Like they'll just keep trying, and okay, if it doesn't work, they'll just keep going. And he's saying it is interesting how it tends to be that age, like puberty, teenager, when people become really self-conscious of how they're looking amongst their friends, or and also girls, again, sweeping statement, a lot of girls don't want to do IT or tech because it's not cool, or it's not seen as a girly thing to do, or what. It's
there is that, and I think that's really valid, that point, because it's all social media as well. That's a huge part compared to when I was that age. But you know, that's the mold that we should fit into as well. And the other thing was, I remember a student from years ago. I was working for a company called Aim Higher, taking them to university. You know, young people from deprived areas, particularly in raising their aspirations. And this girl, we went to Teesside, and they did a brilliant session all about IT and games development there. This girl, hands down, she just rocketed. Like seriously, she won the games, and she was thinking so much ahead, but she lacks so much confidence. She didn't pick it up. She didn't think she was anything special. And sometimes I hear that it's also because it's a boys' world. It's intimidating. Engineering is a big one for that, where they don't want to go because there's too many boys in the room. You know, there's so many things that factor that. But I'll never forget her. She's only year 11.
Amazing. Yeah.
And
they need, it's like any, people need, that's why people need someone around them, or people around them to encourage them and maybe be aware of that, because you know, I am a man, right? I was a boy, right? Like, I think most boys aren't aware of it. You know, they don't realize that it might be intimidating, or that it's like, if someone wants to be
They
involved,
don't.
they can. Like, so
Exactly.
they don't realize that it might be intimidating to come into a room full of, and so that is a challenge for teachers and parents and anyone who's interested in having equal
But
opportunities.
I think you're
Yeah.
spot on with the championing. Actually, there's a YouTube TED talk. It's only 8 minutes long, but what an impact she made. Rita Pearson, absolutely fantastic woman, and she's an educator and much more. And she gave the example of this boy that had come into her class and got 18 out of 18 questions. It was a quiz, and he got a test, should I say? He got 2 right. So 16 out of 18. And she said, I'm not going to tell him it was 16 wrong. I'll say he got 2+. It was 2+. And he was like, no, it was wrong. No, it's 2+. That's what you got. And you can only get better from there.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of championing. One person, that's all you need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And to see the positive instead of focusing on the negative. Exactly.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so we're told before we went live about colour, because you're wearing lovely, vibrant sort of orangey red colours there, and you've got your tulips behind you, and you've got a nice bit of blue there as well. And I'm wearing like a pinky red, and so just want to talk about the importance of colour in giving you confidence, or giving someone confidence, and other senses as well, like music as well. So have you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, color. I used to actually wear a lot of browns and blacks, maybe the slimming effect as well. I don't know. But I soon really, I don't know, maybe good 10, 12 years ago, I started wearing colors. I love block colors, or a pop of colors. So I might wear navy. I love navy, but I'll wear something bright yellow or orange or something. But that's just me, and I think, why not sell it? It's almost like life is delicious. It's worth celebrating. Life is meant to be joyful, you know, and that's how I see it. And flowers, colors, they're natural colors as well, you know. And sometimes the sunrise or the sunset, I'm not usually up at sunrise, but sunsets, and the camera doesn't do it justice. The colors that you can't get on a palette, that's how I see it, you know. And I think it does change your moods depending on, you know, I've heard that before. Yes. You know, you can change. I've got like a green teal bright jacket that I wear. But I also think it's nice for my skin tones as well. Like, it helps as well. But I think it plays a big part for me.
Yeah. And so do you like consciously choose what you're wearing now? You think, okay, I'm going to do this today, so I'm going to wear this color, or I'm going to speak, like, say when you're talking to clients, do you consciously wear a certain color, or not think about it that way? Because
no, not consciously, because it's just part of me, I guess. I'm not like, oh, I'll wear this to do. We had this conversation actually with the coaching supervisor. It came up, you know, did I decorate my room in a certain way, and she said, no, as long as you're being you as the coach, you know, that's the most relevant. But it depends how comfortable you are in your own outfits as well. But normally, I think, I would just grab something that's comfortable but in color that would suit me for that mood. Yeah,
cool. And music, where we were talking a bit more about music, because definitely when I'm speaking, you know, when I'm doing, I wouldn't say it kind of is coaching, it's business coaching, I suppose, but I'm not a coach as such. But with the program that I'm doing, you know, the 5-star focus program, that on the first day, I always ask people about what music they like and what they listen to. And so far, everyone I've spoken to, they're not listening to enough music. Like when they talk about it, they love it, but for whatever, they're just busy and they've stopped
Okay.
listening to music. So one of the things I get them all to do is start listening to their favorite music again, and then within like half a day, they're like, "Oh my god!" Like just listening to that music is just put me in a good mood and like inspire me and motivate me. Because that works for me every morning. I have a little routine. You know, I get up, have a glass of water, have a coffee, have my breakfast, read a couple of books, like read the Daily Stoic, turn into a random page
Yeah,
on notes from the universe. Then I listen to some music, and it instantly
it
puts us in.
changes. Yeah.
Instantly puts us
Yeah.
in the mood.
That's what we say is also it's that time when you're flagging or you're just feeling like really low, which I will say, ride through the waves of life. But when you're under, don't stay under too long, and reach out when you're ready to somebody. Or this is what you do: is you flip that notion and sit in the garden, have a cup of tea, listen to music, upbeat preferably,
Yeah, yeah,
upbeat song, or have a playlist that's your up tempo,
yeah.
music, and it's amazing. It's I love it in any of our senses, like taste, smell, the sounds of the music. Transports us in an instant, that medium, to a memory even you can associate with.
Totally. Music does all the time because I mean it sounds a bit old fashioned now, but I've got like just an iPod Classic with a Bose sound system, right? And it fills the room with sound, right? And but I just have it on shuffle. I've got thousands it's all my favorite music. There's very little sad or miserable music. There's a little bit of like it's all uplifting, all my favorite music, and I never know what's coming on next. But it's surprising how often the right song comes on at the right time.
That's the
Like,
universe speaking to you.
it's just like every day I'm like, that's exactly the song I needed to hear today, and it fit with the mood that I'm in at the moment, or it's getting me into the mood I need to be, and it's every single day for the last year. That's been happening. So
Is there a particular genre you really go?
I mean, it is everything. It's like rock, indie, hip hop, house music,
Oh yeah.
unit reggae. Like I said before, reggae instantly puts me in a good mood, like sunshine for my ears. But I mean, bit of hip hop, like bit of like Oasis, like indie things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like fusion music as well, like Spanish with a bit of Bollywood.
Yeah, yeah.
But reggae, yes. Was saying that I spent first 5 years of my life in Jamaica,
Wow.
and that's probably why I kind of like reggae, because my parents tell me I didn't sleep in the and they had to take me in a car with the music to get sleep most nights. I was like, and that's probably where it stemmed from,
Yeah.
with a bit of sun and sea. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Jamaica's somewhere I really want to go to. So yeah, that instantly puts you in a good mood. So we'll touch on a bit there. So what gives you confidence? Like, where do you get your confidence? Because if you're giving other people or encouraging people to get confidence and self-belief, what gives you confidence?
For me, it's now knowing more who I am. Knowing that now I control my life, I'm creating my reality. I'm here now speaking with you, and I say this, that the blessings that are coming my way is because I am being me.
Yeah.
And I'm showing up as me. As much as it's scary sometimes, you just keep going. It's like working a muscle. It takes work and time, but keep going. And I'm not saying you'll slip back. So this is the thing. This is where I think the confidence really kicks in. Success for people is different. When you say what is success, it's very different to lots of people. For me now, I know, because I was brought up in this environment where you had to have the best job, great big house. This is what success is. Lots of holidays, which is fine. It's fine. I'm not saying, but I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't really got all that. So that means I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
But what I realize now is, for me personally, success is when you have obstacles in your way, how do you deal with them? How are you reacting to things that happen to you in life?
Yeah.
That's when I know that I have that much more confidence in me.
Yeah.
Because life is not, I am not going to say you have to be happy and positive all the time. No, that's not what life is. But it's how do we deal with it when we go through those emotional roller coasters that we have to endure? Because without, it's the balance. Without suffering, there's no compassion. Without darkness, there's no light. Yin yang, all that. So that's part of life, but how are we reacting to it?
Yeah.
That's where I see it, and that's where confidence also comes from. But it comes back to, how do we know ourselves?
Yeah.
And that's where the transformation actually happens.
Yeah. No, I love that.
My goodness. And that's just what I want to do, is the life hacks. I sound pretty cool when I'm saying life hacks, but so imagine that as children and young people, you're growing up with these tools that you've got in your back pocket, which I didn't have when I was bullied, or when I was been in, relationships where it's controlling or whatever. If I had the tools I have now, maybe I could have dealt with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're exactly where you should be, like talking like this and sharing your insights. That this is like, speaking online, in person, on stage, life coach, and that's exactly what you should be doing. So you should be feeling confident, because
just thanks.
But you can just tell when someone's doing the right thing for them, like when they're in the right place. You are doing exactly what you were meant to do. And it's maybe taking you, like you say, 20 years of doing other things, but everything that you've done in those years has equipped you to do what you're doing now, in a way that you couldn't.
Mold you,
yeah. So definitely, you're doing exactly what you should be doing. So
thank you.
You're welcome. So how can people work with you then, if anybody wants to work with you?
Yeah, so you can get in touch with me via LinkedIn. Mayira, or together with my name, Mayira Thomas, and also Instagram, Mayira T. And I have a life coaching business page on Facebook as well. At the moment. And I've got some videos as well on there. But yeah, you can message me.
Okay. So what's your Facebook page called?
Life Coaching by Mayira.
Okay, awesome. But
empowering you to fulfill your goals.
Awesome. So so lots of options, but definitely if anyone's watching this and they want, and when this, I'll post links underneath, obviously, so they can find you easily. But if anyone is watching this, and LinkedIn is probably the best way to contact you if they want to set up a call, because the uplift call that you said is you can do a 30 minutes.
About 30 minutes, and just see where we go from there, and that's it, and if there's anyone who's looking for a speaker, for a little bit of motivational speaking, I'm available too for that.
Amazing. Okay, fantastic.
And you yourself, Paul, I must say, what a motivator you are. There's so many.
I do my best. I try. But I mean, this is the thing. This is when I'm at my happiest and most confident, when I'm doing stuff like this. When I'm talking to someone like you, and I'm getting inspired by you, and we're vibing off each other, and I love it. And then definitely when I'm doing what I'm best at, whether it's or trying to enable other people, or just the work that, when I'm not confident, is when I'm not doing that, or when something happens where I get knocked off course a little bit, or I'm trying to do something that I'm really not as good at, or not comfortable doing.
That's what we call, what I sometimes call it, is soulfully aligned to what you want to be doing, and that's where your purpose lies. Does it make your heart sing? Yeah,
exactly. And like last week, there was like last week it was like, this things aren't quite going to plan this week. What's going on here? And then I was dwelling a little bit. It's like, yeah, just like I was dwelling instead of doing. And once I stopped dwelling and started getting back to doing what I'm best at, everything turned around. So
That's what worry is. That's what the quote there. The worrying is thinking gone toxic.
mm-hmm.
So it's coming out of that worry and finding the solution.
Yeah, and I had about a day of that, of just like,
but you bounce back and you're here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it was
putting all your nice posts out.
Yeah, but it's funny, like mindset. So I've learned as well, you know, when it's your mind is your biggest strength and your biggest weakness as well, because
It is.
it's how like amazing that like things turned around like the next day, because I was like, right, okay, I need to like get back to this, and just as soon as I started doing that, things started happening, and things were coming to me, like without me even trying, not without me trying, because I was like, I'd done a lot of good things in the run up to it, but they were just starting to land. It was starting to come off, and then things out of the blue were just coming to me, and I was like, what's going on here? But like amazing, but and time and time again that's happened when I'm clear on what I'm doing and why I'm doing.
That's the thing. And sometimes these challenges really enable us to see what is it we really want.
Yeah.
So it's like a blessing, and it's being grateful for those challenges.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
No, well, I love talking to you, and encourage anyone listening to this to get in touch with you, either for themselves or if they know somebody else that would benefit from working with you. And whether that's, like you say, potentially anyone could work with you, but if it's women, maybe professional women who often might be very successful in what they're doing, but just still have some self-doubt or confidence issues around what they're doing, and maybe their kids as well, or teens in their family, or students, university students in their family that they know who might benefit from talking to you, to get in touch as well. Okay, lovely. All right, thank you very much. Really enjoyed talking to you as always. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we're going to end it there. All
Bye.
right. Thank you.